First week back, you show us everything you've got. You keep on scoring, and Luke's pants get wet. He's gonna drive Trey wild. He'll drive you crazy. You thought you were on your way to a win. Caleb 40 Burger playoffs, please let me in. You keep on shouting, you keep on shouting. I wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Luke wants to rock and roll all night and party every day. Trey hates rock and roll all Sunday and party every day. Everybody wanna rock and roll all night and party every day. Welcome into the Showtime Fantasy Football Podcast. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025. We are hot off a daylight savings time where it now gets dark at 5 o'clock and it's depressing. This is your host, Ty Stewart, longest winning streak in the league, three-time champion Langston from sunny Dallas, Texas, welcoming in my exposed two-loss streak co-host from Rogers, Arkansas, Trayton Binns. How we doing, brother?
Pretty good. Just won our flag football semifinal, got the game-clinching tackle on fourth down, and we play Last Kings in the championship next week, so pretty pumped for that one.
You're about to be the last peasants once you guys are done with them.
Exactly.
All right. Speaking of peasants, we got a lot of y'all to talk about, so let's go ahead and dive into some of these Week 9 matchups. It was a pivotal Week 9 in the Blind Squirrels Fantasy League. The standings are starting to shape up as we head down the stretch of this regular season. We only have 4 weeks left of the regular season. Can you believe that? I feel like we just left the cabin on the lake with our draft picks yesterday.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a pretty long season for me. I've sustained some injuries. I'm kind of ready for the season to be over, honestly.
Hey, you're right in the thick of it. There's no reason to talk like that. You are. If I go and click on the playoff bracket right now, the Bogo Caniacs are in the playoffs. That is something to be thankful for, especially with your points for a bunch of Mickey Mouse wins.
I was 6-3 last year too, and I got the Sackos. So
Trey's on full emotional guard, protecting his heart from what he knows, which is sadness. All right, so getting into some of these irrelevant matchups from last week, Trey, we finally had a fantasy matchup come down to Monday Night Football. This one was a back and forth Monday night battle between two Cowboys wide receivers. So that even added an extra element to, like, literally every time Dak threw the ball, it could go for points to one of these two players, Pickens and Lamb. Pickens ends up taking this one down for Will. Lamb did take the lead it was like a 40-yard, kind of a broken play late in the game. Lamb catches a deep ball, puts Andrew up, but then Pickens caught like 3 or 4 comeback hitch routes that ended up pushing Will over the edge here. Will takes this one down 133 to 130. Just a brutal 7-game stretch for Andrew. Starts out 2-0 and then is just bleeding 7 losses in a row. He's had a lot of injuries. Bucky has been out for a while. I know he traded Bucky this week, and actually he almost got some pretty instant dividends. Acquiring Jacobs and Diggs looked smart this week. They both scored touchdowns, 18, 11 points respectively from those guys. Will would have been so ass hurt at me if he had lost after that trade, but Kittle missed a lot of time, Lamb missed a lot of time, Bucky missed a lot of time, and Andrew just can't stop the bleeding. We also had a battle of 2 quarterbacks that were traded for each other in the preseason. And if you swap those guys back onto the original team, Andrew actually wins this one. It was a 3-point margin. Lamar outscores Josh Allen here in this matchup by 3. Very efficient night for Lamar on Thursday night. 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, 33 fantasy points as the Ravens demolished the Dolphins. It seemed like they were pretty determined on throwing in the red zone. As a Derrick Henry fantasy manager, I was a little disappointed with that, but for Will, it worked out. This is really probably the most disappointing part of this matchup from Will's side. Obviously, you're not going to complain about anything. You get the win, but Jahmyr Gibbs, 4.3 fantasy points in a home game. I know the Vikings defense is okay, but you just expect way more from Gibbs. 4.3 fantasy points, his season low. It's his career low. Like, he does not do this. He is so explosive. Usually when he touches the ball, good things happen. But this is like his easily worst fantasy game of his entire career. So pretty sure, they were off a bye at home. Just super inexplicable, honestly. I think the Lions offense struggled as a whole. Their O-line has to figure some things out. And then Tyrone Tracy, kind of a fooled you thing from Tracy. Scatterboo goes down with the injury. I made fun of you for not owning Tracy. And yeah, you kind of seem right there. He's kind of a bum. Singletary was out carrying him, out touching him. And then for Andrew, no Ramondre. You like to see Henderson get that bump in usage, only 10.7 fantasy points. So you'd like to see him take more advantage of it. We haven't really seen that explosiveness, and I don't think he's found the end zone once all season. So receiver was pretty much a wash. Lamb, Diggs, Pickens, Olave, tight end, wash. Kittle and Pitts matched each other. And this is really where Will won the matchup, was at flex. Drake London, 9 catches, 118 yards, and 3 tutties for Drake London, which is dominating the Patriots. I feel like every time red zone cut to that game, it was London mossing someone in the end zone or mossing someone downfield. So.
Yeah, I was with Andrew during that, and just every time it cut, Andrew knew what was about to happen. He was just devastated.
And even like solid flex plays from Andrew. You get 4 for 40 and a touchdown from Jennings. Parker Washington really stepped up in the absence of Travis Hunter, 8 for 90 from him. All around 130 points. Not a terrible week from Andrew, but when you take your 7th loss in a row, there is no silver lining. For Will, he is pretty much all this really did was lock both of these teams into the Sacko, because at 1-7, Will was not going anywhere anyways, and now you're just dragging Andrew further down into the doldrums of the league with you. Both these teams are headed nowhere, but it was an entertaining matchup here in week 9.
Yeah, we've officially reached bragging rights season and spoiler season, and almost like where you're watching other matchups more than your own. So we're getting down to the wire where there's some matchups that don't really matter. But fantasy football is still fun all the same. Let's go to one that does kind of matter. We had Cannon versus Josh here, and this one was actually pretty close. I want to say, going into Monday night, it was basically the battle of tight ends, but I think Cannon had a pretty solid advantage, like 15 to 20 point advantage.
Going into Sunday, it still had a chance.
Yeah, going into Sunday night, it was more of like JSN versus Ken Walker. I think there was another
Seahawks D,
which Seahawks D did well. They got 11. JSN got 18, and Ken Walker only got 7. So Sunday night pretty much put it to bed, but Monday night, Josh could have got a legacy game for McBride, and he got 14. Ferguson only 5, but just wasn't enough. Not really Cannon's usual monster output. Jonathan Taylor kind of bageled in his first game on Cannon's roster.
Good sell by you.
Yeah, pretty good sell. Fergie bageled. Good sell by me.
He didn't bagel. He had 50 yards.
Mahomes kind of bagel. Mahomes' first horrible game, I would say. Only 10 points. But he got solid performances from Kyron, Jamar, Etienne, and then obviously Rico Dowdle was the big story here. 27 points, 130-2 at flex against the Packers. That was, I don't know about you, but that was a pretty big surprise to me how well the Panthers were able to run the ball there.
Wait, how did Cannon get Rico?
Moving on to Josh's roster. Moving on to Josh's roster. This one was kind of a critical loss for Josh. He would have loved to get to 6-3 and be in the playoff race. I think he would have been probably if he won. But now he's sitting at 5-4. He's the first team out. Ken Walker, not really sure why he keeps playing him. He sucks. Only 7 points. Zay Flowers just never gets in the end zone. 8.9. Lad McConkey was sad McConkey this week, only 7. And then Ted McMillan, kind of a good sell by you there, only 6.6. And this was, I don't know if you have the graphic ready, but this was the dumbass decision of the week for Joshua Belford as he benched T. Higgins, 29.6 points on his bench. He pretty much could have played T over anyone in his
All
lineup.
4 of his receivers.
And he would have beat Cannon. And I was also with Josh during Red Zone, and he felt like a dumbass, I can tell you. So tough loss for Josh here. Cannon just further solidifying himself as probably the 1 seed. But yeah.
Yeah. He is 10 points behind you in points for, so he wouldn't necessarily be in the playoff picture if he had won. But 5-4, he's still sitting in an okay spot to make a run at it. Plenty of weeks left. All right. Our last irrelevant matchup of the week. This was like the most irrelevant matchup ever. Nah Jesus takes down the Renaissance. 134 to 105. Yeah, he's just a bye week at this point for anyone and everyone. It's just free wins all around. You get a win, you get a win, you get a win. Is this the Mickey Mouse win of I don't know. I might have to give that to myself. Max.
Wait, can you without looking, can you guess the most points? So Jerry has 8 losses. Can you guess the most points Jerry has scored in a loss?
In a loss?
Yes.
115? I don't know.
111.
Okay. Yeah, that's bad. And he's got 8 of those losses, so that's like every single game of the season. 3rd round pick Alvin Kamara continues to just be an embarrassing fantasy asset. 0.2 points, not 2 points. 0.2 points. 14 yards and a fumble. I think he got hurt or banged up or something there too. Just too many bums here for Jerry. Wandale Robinson. Didn't realize this was a deep PPR league. Justin Jefferson did actually have a solid game in JJ's first game back, but again, you take someone to round 1, you need round 1 production. Jefferson's producing more like a round 2, round 3 guy. Achan, this was one of his worst games of the year. Didn't get in the end zone against Baltimore. Mop did fall in the end zone, but he fumbled, so he ended with 10. Kincaid's actually been kind of a bright spot. Tight end 8 on the year, 19 fantasy points here, 100 yards and a touchdown for him. That's good to see. And then Worthy is an embarrassing start at this point in the season. And then, yeah, his bench sucks. So, yeah, just really not a lot of positive takeaways here for Jerry. Just he's got to start looking at Sacko matchups. And I will say the one nice thing about being 1-8 is you can just fully, like, who gives a shit about the rest of the regular season? Like, there is no hope. There is no, like, chance at irrelevance. Just do whatever you can. Sell any player that's going to lose value over the next 4 weeks and just brace yourself for those Sacko matchups because you know they're coming. For Max, it was actually a pretty big win. I feel like he fell off our radar after he reeled off like 3 or 4 straight losses, but if we're gonna say Luke's in it at 4-5 after 3 straight wins, we can't completely ignore Max at 4-5. And his team was never horrible. He just kind of got screwed with a ton of injuries. But if the Puka Stafford stack is healthy and right, his team is formidable because he's got Marvin playing better with Brissett.
His running backs kind of suck.
His running backs suck. Hampton could come back for a potential Sacko run. I don't know why he dropped Aaron Jones because I think you just want to lock up the Vikings backfield. And it's not like he had a time. Maybe he wasn't just complete bye week or injury hell. I don't really remember. I don't really see why he's holding Laporta and Kelsey. I think you can just drop Kelsey and just roll with Laporta at this point. And then
Kelsey's tied in 5. You should at least trade him.
That's fair. I don't know why he's holding Pacheco. Pacheco blows. Wilson was on bye.
Well, he's holding Jerry Judy. That's the big one. He held Judy through his bye week.
Yeah, that's embarrassing. But yeah, Puka is just a stud. So Max's team's always gonna have a chance with the Puka Stafford stack. But yeah, Nick Chubb and Kamani Vidal are just humiliating running back starts in a 10-team league. So big win here for Max. Keeps him alive for irrelevance. He would probably need to win out or close to it to make the playoffs, but he's got a shot at irrelevance if he goes.
Ty's internet is dog water, so I'm gonna wait a couple seconds here for him to come back. Let's see. All right, I'm just gonna move on here. Well, I'm reviewing Ty's matchup, so I'd like him to be here for that. How are y'all doing? Oh, hello.
We're back. All right.
Right.
You can start breaking down the Showtime matchups.
Yeah, Showtime matchups presented by Whataburger. Looking at you took down Cole in this one. Can you get the GIF ready? Because this was your Mickey Mouse win of the week, 116-87 here. Pretty ho hum win for you. Really nothing to write home about. Drake May, 20 burger, James Cook Henry, both like in that 13-point range. Rashee Rice did have a rushing touchdown, which is interesting. Got him to 16. Jalen Warren fell in the end zone twice, got to 16, but this was just kind of a workman-like effort from you. Nothing crazy. Really, the story, and you're 7-2, sitting pretty for the playoffs. The story here is Cole's team. We've been kind of pointing out that he's probably a very fraudulent 6-2 for a while, and definitely the shoe drop for this week. He embarrassingly decided to mega stack the Packers passing game, which first time. Jordan Love, 9 points. Tucker, kind of a feels bad Tucker Craft towards ACL, but I don't know. I feel like you still could have seen this coming. DK Metcalf only 1.6. That was a little bit surprising. The Steelers kind of just got up in that game and sat on the ball a little bit. Kind of a surprising game script there, but tough game for Metcalf. He did get solid games from Bijan and Genty, but Khalil Shakir, 7. I don't know. His defense and kicker only combined for 8. Aubrey only 5 was definitely a surprise. Not that it mattered. That was Monday night. He'd already been down by 30. So he had Jalen Hurts on bye. God, honestly, he didn't really have a lot of bye weeks or anything. So Cole's team got exposed here. Your team, kind of a ho-hum workman-like effort.
Yeah, I kind of took Cole behind the barn and shot him here. He is still projected to make the playoffs. I believe if it started now, he would be the 3 seed, which I would love that if I got matched up with Cole in the semis. So, you know what, Cole, keep winning, man. I believe in you. All right. Our last Showtime matchup of the week, closing the book on week 9. You lost a absolute barn burner shootout to circle the wagons. The 2 highest scores of the week happen to go against each other. Brutal for the Bogo Caniacs. You were 6-2 coming in. Getting to 7-2 would have been absolutely massive for your playoff chances. Luke, this was kind of a must-win for Luke. 3-5. If you fall to 3-6, you're pretty much screwed in terms of any chance to make the playoffs. Maybe if you win out, you can get to irrelevance, but now he wins this one, 3rd win in a row. He's on a streak, 4-5. He is alive, only 2 games back of the 4 seed with 4 to go. Definitely alive for irrelevance. The way this one shook out, again, Luke's team just kind of went nuclear. McCaffrey, 30 burger. Brock Bowers, 37.3 fantasy points. Just a legacy performance from Bowers in the afternoon window. 12 catches, 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. Fantasy performance of a lifetime from a tight end. Makes up for Luke getting destroyed by Mark Andrews 5 years ago. 2 touchdowns from Devontae Adams. 97 yards from Sun God. Freaking Kyle Monungai is over here racking up like 200 total yards, 22 from defense and kicker. You just kind of got your butt kicked here by some stud performances. Bam Knight, who he traded for, that was embarrassing. He sucked, and I'm pretty sure he already dropped him. And then Debo Samuel's fat and bad. No surprise there, only 6.9 at flex. Didn't really matter. Daniel Jones also. Daniel Jones, the shoe kind of dropped for Daniel Jones this week. 3 interceptions, and it looks like his second lowest fantasy output in what wasn't really a tough matchup. The Steelers defense had not been doing this to anyone, so that was a little bit surprising. But Luke puts up 175 here. Your team had a nice day, 150. The Bears mega stack showed up, or at least 2/3 of it showed up. Caleb Williams and DJ Moore combined for 66. Rome Odunze, 0. Yep, a complete bagel from Rome Odunze. How many targets did he have? 3 targets, no catches, no yards, just a no-show from Rome. I can't really call that a choose poorly, because I actually think if you had someone to bench, you probably would have benched DJ, which would have just made your score even worse. Running back wise, you traded JT, so this was the Javonte Williams debut, and it did not go well. 6.8 fantasy points, fumbled. The Cowboys looked horrible. I'm sure you're kind of regretting that buy.
No, he actually outscored Jonathan Taylor this week.
Yeah, but it's not never going to happen again. Kareem Hunt, 12.8 or 12.0, fell in the end zone, just kind of did the bare minimum of what you expect there. Gadsden 9, JMO 14. You like to see that, him getting in the end zone. Pittman's super consistent, 25 from defensive kicker, pretty nice. But this one just kind of came down to Bowersing you, and there wasn't really a ton you could do about it. You put up the second most points in the league. That's a highly expected win, but not a real win here, as you fall to 6-3.
Yeah, feels bad. I've had my fair share of Mickey Mouse wins this year, so I guess I deserved one of these. But all right, instead of like stock up, stock down, you kind of want to just do like an overall. I feel like, I don't know, stock up, stock down at this point, we kind of just pick the same teams. You want to just look at the standings. Like I saw you like a playoff preview. You want to kind of do that right now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and just kind of look at where we're at sitting here, coming off of week 9. We've got 4 weeks left of the fantasy regular season. Where we stand right now is 3 teams are more or less locked into the Sacko. Jerry's the only one that's been officially eliminated at 1-8, but Will and Andrew would have to make something really special happen to even get to a relevant. So I'm going to, for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say Will, Andrew, and Jerry are all locked into the Sacko. So we've got a clear bottom 3. We've got a clear top 2. Cannon and I are both sitting at 99% chance to make the playoffs. 7-8 wins. My schedule to end the season is super easy, so I think I'll pick up at least 2 or 3 more wins without even trying. And then here's where it gets interesting. Here's where it gets fun. We have a clump of 5 teams in the middle of the standings with 4, 5, or 6 wins. That's Max and Luke at 4 and 5, Josh at 5 and 4, and then you and Cole at 6 and 3. Realistically, that blob of 5, anything can happen there in terms of we need 2 playoff teams, 1 Sacko, and 1 irrelevant. I'm not willing to rule out any combination of like I could see you or Cole falling to the Sacko. I could see Max making the playoffs. I could see Luke making the playoffs. Obviously, with y'all having that 2-game advantage over the 4-win teams with 4 weeks to go, it's very tough on them, but it's definitely doable. So kind of heading into week 10, how are you feeling sitting at 6-3? How safe do you feel from the Sacko? And do you think which of those 3 teams without 6 wins do you think is most likely to make the playoffs?
I mean, Luke just dropped 175 on my head. He's got Bowers back. I definitely think Luke is the team you and Cannon don't want to see make the playoffs.
Does he have to win out, you think, though?
Get to 8 and 5. probably. I don't know that we've had many 7-6 teams make it as the 4 seed. But honestly, this year I feel like it's possible because really me and Cole just would need to only win one more game. And because Luke's whoever gets the 4 seed could be a 7-6 with a tiebreaker because really Luke just needs me or Cole. I guess the thing is I play Cole again. So one of us is guaranteed to win. Cole plays Josh this week. One of them is guaranteed to win. So I think, and then I played Josh as well. So it is unfortunate for Luke that me, Cole, and Josh all play each other, I think, twice. So there's actually a lot of guaranteed wins in there for us 3.
Well, if you were playing the West, those would also be guaranteed wins. So at least he also gets guaranteed losses here.
True, but basically what I'm saying is he almost needs it to work out perfectly where like Josh beats both of us and then we I don't know, he needs like almost all of us to get to 7. And
I don't think he wants Josh to be the one winning because
yeah, he does because he has the lowest points for
no, what I'm saying is I think his best chance is one of you and Cole kind of wins out and then he gets to he just needs 1 playoff spot. He doesn't need 2.
That's true. I guess I'm thinking more of how he could catch both of us if Josh were to kind of beat both of us.
But then he also needs to catch Josh. So I do think the best path is you or Cole win out.
Well, the thing is Luke also, I believe, still plays Josh. Let me check.
Does he play both of y'all?
He also plays, he plays Josh.
No, he just beat you. He plays Cole and Josh left.
Right. So I guess what I'm saying is Luke almost controls his own destiny here because we play each other so much and he plays us. So if Luke were to win out or even potentially take a loss and get to 7-6, there's a decent shot he's going to at least have the tiebreaker for the 4 seed. So points 4 are going to be huge down the stretch here because I think between me, Cole, Josh, Luke, and who knows, maybe Max, it's going to come down to some points 4 tiebreakers.
Yeah, and that's where that 175 is going to come in handy because that vaulted Luke up. He is now in 3rd in points 4 in the league. So if he can keep the scoring up and just fight his way to that tiebreaker, I mean, he'll sneak in there as a 4 seed, it's going to be interesting.
Do you agree? Luke Max this week is basically an elimination game, right?
It's a playoff elimination game. I don't think the loser is necessarily done in terms of banished to the Sacko.
Yeah, I'm just talking playoffs.
Yes. You are not getting to the playoffs at 4 and 6. I mean, you'd be down to a 1% chance at that point, and I don't think you would even control your own destiny, especially if it's Max. But
so are you thinking Max is definitely the most likely to be the 4th Sacko team?
Yeah, just by nature of he's already. I mean, if it started today, he would be, and I don't have a ton of faith in his roster with no Hampton. If you just told me to look at those 5 teams and tell you which one is the worst, I actually think I would pick Cole or Josh both over. I would actually prefer if you just told me you're 0-0. Pick a team for the rest of the year, I would probably pick Max's over both Cole and Josh. But that's not the situation. Cole has two games up on him and Josh has 1. So going off of, and it's not enough of a difference for me. I will say Max is in the West, so maybe his schedule is a little easier. Let's pull up the Oracle schedule here.
I was just looking at that. He actually has kind of a tough schedule. Luke, you, and Will. I mean, Will's team is better than its record, so he doesn't draw Jerry or Cole.
Yeah. He already got his 2 free Jerry wins, so he's out of those. And he did lose to Cole early in the year, so that's tough. But head-to-head doesn't really matter, so that's nice at least. ESPN's only giving Max an 8% chance while it's giving Luke 23, and they have the same record. So I don't know if that's a points 4 thing or if
that feels about right.
Yeah, I think
What do you,
Max's goal is now to just win enough games to avoid the Sacco.
what do you make of it having Cole almost 10 points ahead of me?
Yeah, I mean that could just be by nature of like he's got 26 more points than you, and if it does come down to a tiebreaker, he would get in over you. I don't necessarily know how much they do like in terms of like actual like predictive analysis of your roster. If I looked at you and Cole's teams and played the same game I was just playing with Max, it's tough. He has the best player pretty easily out of both teams combined with Bijan. If you told me, and I think his quarterback is clearly better, but the Kraft injury hurts him, and he's just got pretty much no pop at wide receiver. So I think I would probably take your team straight up going forward. I'm not a big fan of Ginty or Ginty's schedule. Potato is about to turn back into a potato, and Bucky comes back. So, yeah, I would take your team over Cole's, but there's also a world where you both, you both sneak in 2 more wins, and it's just me, Cannon, you, and Cole. I'm kind of
Yeah.
rooting against that though because I kind of want some chaos.
All right, waiver wire.
Yep. Waiver wire. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this week's waiver wire. It was super boring. Highest bid of the week, $33 to Luke for Alec Pierce. No other bids. Andrew, $23 for Colson Loveland coming off his NFC Offensive Player of the Week performance. 26 fantasy points against Cincinnati. You should have kept him and run a freaking quadruple Bears mega stack. You tried to sneak in for 0. Nice try, buddy. Luke goes and gets Flacco with the Daniels injury. I think the Bengals are on bye, so it's kind of a sneaky ad. No one else put in a bid, so we're only 4 claims in, and Luke's already lit $46 a fab on fire. I guess you can't take it with you. He then added Darius Slayton, dropping Bam Knight, who he traded for. Embarrassing. Cole goes and grabs Theo Johnson with the Kraft injury. Theo's been okay. Dart seems to like him, and they don't really have a ton of receivers. Cannon adds Darnold. Cole adds Andrews. You added the Falcons D, who are in Germany taking on the Colts. I guess you're kind of hoping what we saw from the Colts was them turning back into pumpkins last
We're
week.
playing them this week. Look at their schedule.
Okay, you're stashing things even though you need to win now. Jerry goes for DeMercado, Saints D. I had Cairo Santos, kicker, who cares, blah, blah, blah. All right, that's waivers. This week sucked. All right, now it's time for everyone's favorite segment.
Dun, dun, dun. Trade review. I'm trying to just remember where we left off last week. I know we have to review you and me's trade. I guess also the one me and Luke. I mean, honestly, these are pretty inconsequential. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I traded Luke Bam Knight for Aaron Jones. Chuba already basically said he was going to drop one of them. And at the time, we thought
we're losing listeners by the second as you talk about this.
I'm gonna hurry up. At the time, we thought Bam Knight might be okay last week. Really, the only net is maybe Aaron Jones is okay for me going forward. Like I have to start Aaron Jones this week, so we'll see. For you and me's trade, it was BT. Honestly, I kind of fleeced you here. BTJ. So it was actually before the Hunter news, but it was BTJ and Jared Goff for Dak and Trey Benson. Kind of giving up on BTJ there for me and gaining Dak, and you have Drake May, so you don't really need Dak. Trey Benson was your 5th running back, but I needed running back depth, and he could be okay for me down the stretch. We've already seen a week of this play out, and even with the Hunter news, BTJ just is not an alpha, not a 1. He's kind of a broke boy bum. And also got hurt. And since then, they've traded for Jacoby Myers. So BTJ kind of looks like a bust. You were trying to fix your wide receiver too. Does not look like you were able to do that here. Dak also kind of sucked, and then Trey Benson. Like honestly, no one in this trade did well. So we'll see. I think moving forward, if Trey Benson can get back, it doesn't kind of sound like he's going to play this week. So I don't really know, but I think Dak. The biggest impact of this trade will be Dak will be probably my starting quarterback moving forward. And I think he'll be pretty good for me. And so we'll see. I don't really see you starting BTJ much. Maybe you start Goff like the 1 week Drake May's on bye or something. But God, Andrew's just embarrassingly sending me horrible trade offers, thinking I want Tony Pollard and Jacoby Myers. Andrew's embarrassing himself right now, but yeah, not much in trade review here. I don't think I missed anything. There hasn't been any like blockbusters since the JT trade. So,
was the Bucky trade? Did we talk about that in last week's trade review?
No, actually, yeah. I never even sent a video in for that one. So good point. I do need to cover that. This happened late last week. You ended up trading Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson, and Diggs for Addison and Bucky. Andrew had been kind of looking to get out from under Bucky for a while. And I don't know, he kind of waited too long. He waited until Bucky was almost back to do that. So it didn't make a ton of sense, but he acquires Jacobs. I don't know. Jacobs and Bucky are kind of the same guy to me for the most part. They're, top 10 running backs and pretty good offenses. Bucky being hurt right now is obviously a pretty big. We don't really know how healthy he's going to be when he comes back. But the Buccaneers offense is a really good environment for running backs. And if he's healthy, I believe his schedule down the stretch is really good. So I know that's why you were targeting him for the playoffs. Josh Jacobs has been kind of banged up, has been playing less snap, but he still seems to find the end zone and 70 yards every week. So he's just such a consistent RB1. So, and then honestly, Addison and Diggs was kind of a Spider-Man meme swap there, low end twos. I think I slightly prefer Addison just because if McCarthy can play well down the stretch. I know the Vikings have a really good schedule, and Addison I think is just the better player at this point in their careers. So I'd give you the edge there with the Addison acquisition. Bucky's just all going to come down to health. I think if he comes back healthy with that schedule and that offense, you're going to end up winning that. But Jacobs is definitely the safer option. So I think for you to win a championship, I like this trade for you for the upside. Is that kind of what you were thinking making it? Is you just kind of taking some shots on like upside for the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm taking swings on weeks 14 through 17 situations. I truthfully do not care if Bucky plays a snap for the next 2 weeks. As long as he is back healthy and ready to take on a full workload for the playoffs, I feel confident in my standing in terms of making the playoffs. So I'm willing to take some lose now trades, toss Andrew a viable running back option for now. I kind of agree with you, right? This is like we swapped RB1s, we swapped wide receiver 2s, but I prefer like Addison gets Dallas in the fantasy playoffs. So I'm taking shots at big performances in those weeks 14 through 17 matchups that can propel me to a title. The only way I could see myself really regretting this trade is if the Bucky injury continues to linger. He didn't practice today, but it is also Wednesday. If Bucky doesn't practice at all this entire week, I will start to be a little concerned because they sat him through the bye, never placed him on IR. So that kind of traditional thinking would be like, okay, he should be coming back soon. And if you're not practicing at all, you're really not even close to coming back. If you're starting to get limited stuff in, then maybe you could be back like that week or the next. Okay. You good on trade review?
Yep.
Okay. All right. We are moving on to week 10 of the Blind Squirrels Fantasy League, looking at our first irrelevant matchup. Let's just get this one out of the way. We're going to spend like a minute on this. Jerry versus Andrew, 1-8 versus 2-7. Josh Allen greater than Bo Nix. A-Chain equal to Jacobs. Mop over Hendo. If Ramondre is out, Mop only slightly over Hendo. Receiver wise, dear God, Andrew's lineup is still so bad. I guess Lamb's on bye. Jefferson is easily the best of this foursome of Diggs, Smith, Wandale, and Jefferson. Kittle over Kincaid easily, and then oh my God, Jerry is starting both Seahawks receivers, Cooper Kupp and Rashid Shaheed. This has to be a joke. There must be like unprocessed waiver claims going or a trade. There's just no way he starts both Seahawks wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3. If so, I will be picking Andrew.
Well, wide receiver 4, Torrey Horton.
Yeah, literally. See, Andrew's got 2 Niners, 2 Patriots. This is literally disgusting. This is the sicko matchup of the week. There's a reason these teams are combined with 3 wins. I'm just going to say it's a Mickey Mouse win for someone. I guess I'll just say Andrew takes it down like 88 to freaking 70. I don't know. It's going to be gross.
Yeah, this is absolutely disgusting. I mean, maybe Andrew has like a prayer that Luke and Max lose out and he gets to a relevancy. I don't know. No, all right. No, this game was pointless. Sacko preview here. I'll go with 3 just for fun. All right. Let's look at Max and Luke. Speaking of them, 4-5 versus 4-5. This one's actually pretty huge. The loser kind of feels like they're more so in the Sacko. The winner is feeling pretty solid with irrelevance and has a shot at the playoffs. Looking at this one, quarterbacks, Stafford has just been on fire lately. Daniel Jones, kind of a shoe drop game. He's over in Germany. I'll take Stafford. He's just been playing so well for Max. Running back is where it starts to get bleak for Max here. He's playing Kamani Vidal, Nick Chubb right now. And I guess that's what he's sticking with because Mason's on his bench, but he's kind of the backup right now for the Vikings. I don't really see any upside for Nick Chubb, so I hope he finds a way to make a change there because he's going against Christian McCaffrey and Quinshon Judkins against the Jets. So Luke is going to dominate running back. Receiver, Puka and Troy Franklin versus Sun God and Alec Pierce straight off of waiver. I don't know. I don't really understand the Alec Pierce hype. I know he's a solid like deep threat, but
the $33 man.
I'm not really seeing it with Alec Pierce. I'd rather just throw in Keenan Allen or Deebo Samuel, frankly.
He's going for Trey. This is a you move. He's going for the stack.
Does he really need
He's
that?
Manufacturing the stack.
Yeah, no, now that I think about it, no. Does he really need that against Max here? I feel like his team is good enough. He doesn't need to do a desperation Trey embarrassing stack, but right now he has
who would you play over him?
I would probably play Deebo or Keenan. I'd probably have to think more about between those two. Probably Keenan. I mean, I know he's not been great, but the Steelers secondary blows. All right. Yeah, definitely. I mean, honestly, I'll just lean Max here at receiver because Franklin has a good matchup and Puka's Puka. Tight end, Bowers. God, Bowers destroyed me last week. I just have to respect the game there. Although Denver, I could see Bowers not doing amazing there. Like he's definitely not going to score 30. Whereas Laporta has a great matchup with the Commanders. Flexes, Devontae. Yeah, so we have Devontae versus Puka here. That's kind of interesting. Devontae and Manungai, which I believe Swift is questionable. Either way, I actually kind of like Manungai against the Giants, but if Swift's out, definitely versus Nico and Marvin Harrison. Solid flexes there for Max. He's had a decent receiving core and when healthy all year. Even Garrett Wilson is projected 11. Playing Cleveland, though, honestly, I don't hate that sit over Franklin, even if Garrett Wilson plays. You just don't really know what you're getting from Fields. I mean, Fields against the Browns, you just have no idea what you're getting there. Honestly, I don't hate Max's chances here, but I think his deficiency at running back is really going to come to bite him here. Luke's going to win this one probably by about 20. I'm going to say 130 to 112.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have much to add. I just can't pick someone starting Nick Chubb in 2025. I think Luke circles the wagons, increases his win streak to 4, and puts himself in a position to make a run at that last playoff spot. Max falls to 4-6 and is heading towards the Sacko. All right, our last irrelevant matchup. We've got not an irrelevant matchup. This one is a very important matchup between the Ugly Ducklings and the Matchup King. You will be watching this one very closely as you are vying for playoff spots with both these teams.
Yeah, who do I want to win here? I don't know.
I think you definitely want Josh just because I think you definitely want Josh because then if you win, you'll have like a full actually I don't know. Because if Cole wins and you'll have like a full and you win, you'll have a full game cushion over Josh. But if 2 game. But if Josh wins and you win, then you can like guarantee yourself a 1 game cushion over. I don't know. It's tough. I think overall you probably want Josh because you just want to put distance between yourself and anyone that's chasing you. In terms of breaking down the matchup here, a lot of check marks on Josh's side from the ESPN projections, including quarterback, which who would have thought Jackson Dart projected for more than Jalen Hurts. Dart is like in the top 5 of a lot of fantasy experts' rankings this week. He is at Chicago. No Malik Neighbors, no Scadaboo. Doesn't matter. Dart just seems to kind of get it done. He's got 5 rushing touchdowns in 6 starts, 4 rushing touchdowns in his last 4 games. So he's getting it done on the ground and through the air. He's got 2 30-point fantasy games in his last 3. The Bears just kind of suck. They just gave up like 400 yards to Flacco. Their defense just isn't very good. Hurts taking on the Packers in Lambeau on Monday night. I could see that being a little bit of a slower paced, low scoring game. So I definitely prefer Dart there in terms of fantasy points. Running back, we've got Breece Hall off a bye against the Browns. Did not get traded. He's going to be butthurt. Ken Walker home against the Cardinals versus Genty and I'll say Bijan. I think Bijan outscores Walker and Hall combined. I'm giving Cole a pretty big edge here at running back. Wide receiver, A.J. Brown and Ladd McConkey, both in prime time against Metcalf and Shakir. Metcalf and McConkey playing against each other. I think McConkey is going to outscore him. And then A.J. Brown, just a better football player than Shakir. So I got to give Josh the edge at wide receiver. Tight end, McBride and Theo Johnson. Tough break here for Cole, trying to find a fill-in for Kraft. I got to give Josh the advantage at tight end. And then flexes, we've got Zay Flowers at Minnesota and Waddle home against the Bills for Josh. And then Cole is going to have Shakir and Romeo. I kind of like Flowers at Minnesota. I feel like Minnesota's defense is prone to giving up big plays. They're better against the run. And then Waddle he's with Tyreek out, he is the number 1 wide receiver for Tua. So he's going to get 8 targets every single week, except for 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago when he didn't. But overall, good target share for Waddle. This is a big one. I tend to side with ESPN here and just think that Josh has some better plays. If Bucky is out, I do think Potato's projection will double, if not even more than that. T. Higgins on bye, Chase Brown on bye, Brandon Aubrey on bye. So important pieces missing for both sides here. I think Dart gets it done. AJ Brown cancels out Jalen Hurts on Monday Night Football, and Josh stiff arms Cole, keeps him at arm's length, and wins this one by 12 to 15 points.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Josh. I think Cole could be scrappy here, but Luke adds Ray Davis. Cole could be scrappy here, but I think just overall, I don't know that Genty at Denver. That's very tough. He's kind of Bijan and the boys.
He needs like Genty to go out tomorrow and do like a matchup swinging like 24.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. But I'll take Josh. All right. Showtime matchups of the week. This one's pretty irrelevant. You versus Will, 7-2 versus 2-7. You're kind of getting to the point where you don't even really care if you win. I'm sure you'd like to get to 8-2 and just really solidify the playoffs, but Will 2-7. He's pretty much in the Sackos. This one doesn't really matter. I'll kind of go through this quickly. Lamar's better than Drake May. Running back, James Cook's going to destroy the Dolphins. Henry is going to destroy the I don't know, Vikings run D's kind of good, but
No.
Jahmyr Gibbs is going to absolutely penetrate the Redskins or the Commanders. Tyrone Tracy.
Holy racist.
I guess he kind of has to start Tracy this week. He should be okay against the Bears. Receiver, you're kind of in a tough spot this week with Rashee Rice on bye. You're just throwing in Quentin Johnson and Addison, hoping one of them falls in the end zone. He's got Drake London and Chris Olave, volume monsters. He's going to destroy you at receiver. Tight end, God, you freaking Ty's frozen again like a bum. Just give him a couple seconds to come back. Ba 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 ba. Hello, Earth to Ty. Oh my God, he left. I think he'll come back here in a second. Warren over Pitts, I guess. Are you back?
Yeah.
What did you hear last?
Sorry, what?
What did you hear me say last?
I heard you say that you are the inferior twin and I'm better than you at fantasy.
All right, I was previewing your dog shit receivers, and Drake London and Chris Olave are going to destroy you. Tight end, you kind of a Germany tight end matchup. It's kind of a gross reason to get up on a Sunday morning, but I'll
be up.
Say Warren over Pitts. Bucky, probably know he's going to play kind of a DNP on Wednesday. If he doesn't play, you'll just throw in BTJ or something. Jalen Warren, prime time Sunday night. This one might come down to Sunday night. I don't think there's any Monday plays. Jalen Warren, you might need him to fall in the end zone for a win, but he's got Sutton tomorrow. DeAndre Swift, he might play. If he doesn't, maybe Ramondre plays. I don't know. This game's pretty irrelevant. Doesn't really matter. I'll just go with Will because that'd be kind of a funny outcome.
Yeah, I'm gonna take myself. I'm on a 4-game win streak. I'm hot. Will is not gonna stand in my way. He blows. All right, our last Showtime matchup of the week, presented by HSA Bank. Don't look at my card. We've got the Bogo Caniacs versus Jordan Love being on top. It's the battle of the big room, hot 709, I think. Yeah, this one is pretty meaningless for Cannon, but means everything to you. You need this win to help solidify your run at the playoffs. You are rolling back with the Bears mega stack home against the Giants. Not really sure that's going to work out for you 2 weeks in a row. With Javonte on bye and you dropping Rico right into Cannon's lap and trading him JT, your running backs blow. You're starting J.K. Dobbins and Aaron Jones. Didn't realize I accidentally clicked into my 32-team league. Your other receiver, Michael Pittman, also in that gross, supposed to be rainy London game against a pretty good Falcons secondary.
You already know the weather in Germany? What the hell?
Yep. Pittman also apparently missed Wednesday's practice with a glute injury. Yeah, Aaron Jones is banged up. Pittman's banged up. Rome and DJ are both banged up. This kind of seems like a buy for Cannon. This is kind of an instant dividend trade situation. You have Gadsden and Rome, who he got from him, and then his revenge pieces are Taylor and I guess technically Rico, but you really never played or started him or anything. And then Jamar's on bye. So your lineup kind of sucks, honestly. Cannons is a lot better. You do get him on Mahomes' bye and Jamar's bye and Fergie's bye. So we're seeing a few bummy plays from Cannon, starting with Dalton Schultz. I don't know what he's thinking here with Schultz. Seems like there's plenty of better waiver options out there. I'd probably start Fannin or Henry or even freaking Hawkinson over Schultz. So, Cannon, I know you're not going to listen to this because you're a loser, but please don't play Schultz. And then quarterback, he is rocking. This is an interesting play. Darnold at home. Darnold coming off one of the best performances of his career, 35 fantasy points. The Cardinals did just shut down the Cowboys, though, so their defense is looking okay. They traded for Shaheed. You wonder how that'll affect the offense. Don't hate the play. I don't know how many other better quarterbacks there would be on waivers. He wasn't the highest projected. There's 3 higher projected, so he's kind of targeting Darnold here. It'll be interesting to see how that works out. It's an afternoon game, and we all know what happens to Trey in the afternoon window. Seems like he's kind of going for a stack here with JSN. You're kind of hoping maybe they try to feed Rashid and get him involved. And then also in the afternoon window, he's got Kyron at San Francisco. Kyron's, it's kind of been weird. I'm not going to say he's been falling off, but okay, he did have 25 for 114 last week, but that was against the Saints. So I'll be interested to see how Kyron does this week. JT, Jonathan Taylor, you threw him out like trash. He's back on an island game in Germany. You're going to be up at 8:30, just holding on your breath on every carry. Is JT, the RB1 in fantasy, takes it to you. It's going to be tremendous watch as a third-party objective observer. Ibuka back off a bye, home against the Patriots. Should be a solid game from him. Fake fan conundrum. Barkley is in Green Bay on Monday night at the flex position, and then Rico Dowdle is hosting the Saints. Yeah, this is just unfair. This is like David versus Goliath. Not really sure. I'm trying to just even concoct a BS path to victory for you, and I'm having trouble doing so. I guess you would need Caleb to back up his 43 with another 40, and this time he throws multiple stacks to Adunze and DJ. But the rest of your lineup just doesn't have a ton of pop. So you're going to be 6-4. Cannon's going to improve to 9-1, and we'll just we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's kind of a scheduled L for me. I'm kind of throwing this week. My season comes down in the next 3 weeks. JT is probably going to penetrate me, make me feel like an idiot, but my only chance is Caleb Williams throws 4 touchdowns again to DJ Moore and Rome Odunze. So if that happens, I'll just laugh in Cannon's face.
Yeah, you're going to get blown out. I'm going to say 50-point L. All right. Thank you guys all for listening to the Showtime Fantasy Football Podcast. We will be back next week with a Week 10 review, Week 11 preview. Good luck to you all this weekend.